Hi, everybody, and welcome to the third episode in Osprey's webinar series. I'm Matt Wood, the support team leader at Osprey, and throughout the series, we're discovering more about our integration partners. We're learning why using our integration partners can bring an array of benefits to you and your firm: time saving, reducing errors, and improving customer service, to name just a few. The Q&A feature is open for any questions you may have. That's at the bottom of the Zoom screen. We'll answer any of them at the end of the session today. And if we do run out of time, we'll make sure that somebody gets back to you afterwards with an answer. Today, we're focusing on Searchflow. Searchflow are the leading UK property search provider in the residential and commercial markets. Before we went on the lookout for a search provider to integrate with, we started to collect data from you, our Osprey customers, on who you currently use. And as would probably be expected as a market-leading solution, we found Searchflow were the most widely used. This was one of the key reasons we decided to integrate. The other big reason on why we decided to integrate was just how easy and quick the solution really could be. You never have to leave Osprey screens to place or receive your search orders. We have with us today John White, who is the National Sales Manager at Searchflow. He's going to share his expertise with us today on Searchflow. He'll let us know who they are, what they do, and most importantly, why the integration with Osprey can provide a host of benefits to you and your firm. Now, before we can truly discuss the benefits, we need to ensure that we fully understand some of the issues with not using a search provider, and more so an integrated search provider, so that when we do look at the benefits, we have some context behind it. Okay. So the first one to talk about is time. Time is going to be a big talking point for the day again, and rightly so. After all, time is money. Any changes that can be made to save time without losing out in any way, shape, or form should always be given serious consideration. Now, everyone talks about saving time, but is it actually worth it? Does saving a minute or two here or there really have any sort of tangible effect on a business? Well, if we put that in numbers, if we can save a team of 10 fee earners 5 minutes a day by amending a process, that works out at over 216 hours in a year, or alternatively, over £30,000 in billable hours based on average solicitors' fees that are saved. Now, John will cover today just how fast ordering your searches can be through the integration. And when he does that, I want you to think, is our process that fast? Can we save each fee earner just a small amount of time by using the integration? And as the example shows, it is only a small amount of time that you really do need to save on a repetitive process to yield remarkable results. The next bit to talk about, again, it's errors. So human errors are almost inevitable part of all processes. Now, if we have to enter the same information over and over again into different softwares, different providers, we only increase the risk of human errors occurring. In previous episodes, I used the hello example. And I said that if I type hello once into Word, I have an extremely high chance of being completely accurate. However, if I type hello in 10 or 20 times over and over, there's a high chance that I'm going to make a mistake. Now, the picture on the right of the screen now is what I did yesterday, and it shows me doing exactly that. This was a first attempt, and in 16 goes, you can see highlighted 2 mistakes. Now, these kinds of errors are costly to businesses. The actions performed, they need to be repeated. That wastes time and therefore money. If the action includes a financial transaction, you may be charged for both the initial and the correctional request. In some of the worst case scenarios, you may be even completely unaware that the error has happened. Then maybe your client or the other side had to tell you about the error. And that's both embarrassing and can lead to missed deadlines and therefore unhappy clients. we can go a further down the spectrum of how the worst case scenarios for this, and it could lead to SRA or other compliance breaches. Human errors, as I said a moment ago, they are just unfortunately part and parcel of life. However, we can, by using the best technology, the best services, and the best processes that are available to us, reduce the risk of these errors occurring. So, John, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come onto our webinar with us today. It's really, really great to have you here. If you want to just take over the screen, just let everybody who's watching know, who you are, who Searchflow are, how the integration can really help to alleviate some of these issues and drive those efficiencies in their processes.
Thanks very much, Matt, and thanks to everyone for joining the call today and giving us a chance to obviously talk about our partnership with Osprey and the benefits that, the many benefits that can bring. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, if you can just let me know when you can see that map, that would be great.
Yeah, I'm good to go. Yeah.
So great. So my name's John White, as Matt said. I'm the National Sales Manager for Searchflow. And everything that we do with Searchflow through our partnerships is really about, keeping you moving on those next steps, helping to reduce overheads and the whole end-to-end process, about driving efficiencies, with time, which eventually, as Matt said, makes you more profitable because you're saving time with billable hours. A little bit about Searchflow, for those who don't know us. This is our group structure. So we're actually part of a Landmark Information Group, and I'm sure anyone that's been around property transactions have heard of both Landmark and Searchflow. In England, Wales, obviously part of our group is Landmark and Argyll. So depending on which kind of reports you're looking for, Landmark are fully automated reports, whereas Argyll are probably more suitable to large commercial transactions where you need expert opinion that our consultants provide. As a group, we're actually part of DMGT. We're part of a £1.6 billion UK listed company. So we just let you know that because obviously, certainly from a financial security perspective, we're very financially secure, and that enables us to invest in technology and we're always looking at new technology and new techniques to accelerate the whole property transaction process. Hence, the partnerships with Osprey. We also own, as part of the group, the Endless Hub. We've done over 26 million electronic searches now with local authorities. But where that really helps yourselves is if you've got a particularly difficult transaction where a local authority search is delayed, because we have those types of relationships, sometimes we can leverage that to help. And then outside of the UK, in Scotland, we have exactly the same kind of setup with Miller and Bryce. So just Searchflow in numbers. We've been involved in over 1.2 trillion pounds worth of property transactions in this millennium since 2001. And literally every year we complete over a million searches, and currently we have over 2,500 law firms that we partner to provide searches, and 1 in every 4 searches within the UK are supplied by Searchflow for UK property transactions. And as I say, I think that's why Osprey approached us, just really to make sure that they're confident. It's about having the right partnerships in place, and we've got a lot of experience, we've got great heritage, and that also gives us some great data that we're doing some interesting things as well, again, to accelerate the property transaction process. So we have gold class data, we really do. So if you're looking for kind of premium partners, both Offspring and Searchflow are the right choice. We just make it really, really simple for you to transact with us. The integration that we have with Osprey just means that within, very simply, we can set up bundles for you, so search profiles, which really, firstly, it helps drive compliance, which is really important for you, to make sure that the right searches are being ordered, and that means you can standardize on those searches, on different transactions, whether it's for residential, commercial. More importantly, as importantly as compliance, it means that it's a real efficiency. Once we set up a bundle for you, you can literally order that bundle once you log on and just put in a title number or an address. You can actually order the searches within 3 or 4 clicks. So in around 30 seconds you can transact. And once you've transacted, obviously the results come back. It gives you a expected date when they're due back. Lots of our reports, because they're all automated now, the landmark reports are literally back within 24 hours, things like an environmental report, which is what you want, because it's going to accelerate that whole property transaction process. We also have an expert customer support team as well. So if you're if you're struggling to find something, they can help you plot plans to upload as well to us. So we've got over 40 customer service agents that are available throughout the day, but they're broken into 3 different teams. For example, a residential team, a commercial team. So depending on the type of transaction you have, they've got real expertise in that. So and can really leverage their experience to, if you can imagine, you probably come across something like that very rarely. Our guys are dealing with it every single day, day in, day out. So there's not much that they haven't come across. And we also, we perform to strict KPIs as well with regards to, returning your searches and dealing with any queries. And such is that we in the last couple of years, we've actually won 3 customer experience awards. And that wasn't just our industry, that was competing with every company in the UK, the likes of Vodafone, Lloyds Bank, and people like that. And they were so impressed with our customer service that basically our head of customer services now sits on the panel, which is great. And as you can see from here, literally we have a 98% CSAT score, which is the best in class. So the search flow and Osprey integration, as we can see here, this is the home screen, and then there's an order form. So as you can see, you've got favourite products or bundles that you can click straight into, and all you simply do is insert the title number or the address, the site type, and obviously the number of parcels, and then literally view the plan, get a quote. It comes back. As you can see, you can preview the plan to make sure it reflects what you believe it should do. And from there, you can add products if you need to. So, for instance, let's say you've got a bundle set up, but you're in a geographical area like Cornwall where you might need to add tin mining. Obviously, you can then add products to that as well. And then literally, as I say, you submit the order and the results will come back. As we said, it really is as simple as that. Everything that us and Osprey have done with the integration is all about driving efficiencies, standardization, compliance, and also obviously driving that profitability for you. But also, you're getting gold standard data as well, and getting gold standard reports back. The other thing that I wanted to touch on as well is before we move on to the question and answer section, as you're integrated with Searchflow, you can also have free access. I'm just going to come out of this screen, and hopefully you'll be able to see. Bear with me one sec. Just going to share with you. There we go. As a value add, something you also have availability to is the Landmark Academy. And this is really about helping you keep your environmental law skills current. It's a free service that's available to you, and it counts towards your continuing competency. So it means you can obviously use this to build up your hours, whilst also at the same time keeping up to speed with any changes in legislation, regulation, or anything like that. There's events and bespoke training, lots of different articles and reports. You can meet with different experts, whether that's through videos. You can browse all of the different subjects that this covers, everything from ESG is quite topical at the moment, energy infrastructure planning, environmental law, and as I say here, we understand how hard it is. When you've got busy lives and busy schedules, you can't always attend in-house training sessions or live webinars. So we've got a whole library of videos and topical blogs that will help you with that as well. So I'm just going to go back now to the Q&As, if there's any Q&As.
Yeah, thanks, John. Really interesting. Hopefully, it actually thought-provoking to consider that property searches could be ordered within sort of 3 clicks of a button. Just as a note, when you go onto the Searchflow screen, actually the data can be pre-populated. So if you're already storing title numbers, addresses as part of your process, you don't actually have to enter that in. So it's actually even quicker. Again, we don't have to re-enter that data. You store it once and you store it correctly. And then from there, everything is so quick. Sorry, so, and as we said, we never have to leave Osprey in order to make those orders.
I think the key to that, Matt, as well, as you said, it reduces the amount of double keying that you have to do, but that significantly reduces the risk of errors as well, as you pointed out.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, it's also worth mentioning, just for obviously everybody watching who isn't already integrated with Searchflow, and it is just another time saver, is that once an order is actually processed using the integration, the disbursement for the searches is actually automatically added to the client ledger for the relevant client and matter, of course. Earlier, obviously, suggesting that saving 5 minutes a day for a group of fee earners could really have a major and positive impact on a business. And you can kind of see how easily that sort of thing could be achieved by making use of the integration. Before we move on and have a look at some of the questions and answers, I would like to thank everybody for coming and watching the episode. Next week, we're going to take a look at our integration with LexisNexis, which is a forms provider. And can I also just take this opportunity just to remind you that we are also running a workflow webinar every Thursday at 10 a.m. with our in-house case management developers. This week, Alex is going to be looking at personal injury. As always, if you're in that line of work or you're considering that line of work, it's definitely worth the watch. It's going to help you drive your efficiencies as well. If you just keep an eye on your emails for the registration link to both of those, get yourself signed up, and we'll look forward to seeing you in there. So if we move on then, just the final part of the Q&A. First question we've had in is, how long does it take to set up? It's probably one for both of us, John. So if you want to answer that from your perspective, how long does the sign-up process take?
Yeah, onboarding is done within, for standard onboarding, which this is, we can do it within 24 hours. So it really is a very simple setup, and it's well-oiled machine. It really is. So within 24 hours, you can be set up and ordering.
Yeah, certainly. And then from our perspective, once you are actually set up with Searchflow, you've got your account, Searchflow will get in touch with us and let us know the bundles that you would have on your account. We will set your bundles up for you. We'll then get in touch. We'll get some of your username, your password, and things like that you'll need, and we'll help you set that up. We'll show you how to add favorite products, and we'll show you how to process an order. And after that, it's done. So yeah, as John says, it's very, very quick to get set up with the Searchflow integration. Okay. So the next one then is, do we get notified when searches are sent back to Osprey?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways that this happens. So obviously within the actual platform, the Osprey platform, obviously at any time you can go in and you'll see a status update to see how the searches are progressing. You can see obviously expected date when they're due, and obviously any that are returned. But as and when the searches are returned, you'll also get a notification email as well to let you know that those searches are back. So you can either self-serve or you can wait for a notification email. But it's so simple, just by logging in, looking at the case that you're working on, you can get an immediate update there and then, at your fingertips.
And I suppose this question actually follows on nicely from that. So obviously you've been able to find out what stage your orders at by going onto the app. If they need help to get searches through quicker, who would they get in touch with? Is it possible, and all of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, as I said, we've got an award-winning customer service team that are on hand in office hours. The majority of the time, 99.9% of the time, as we know, things normally progress as they should. At the moment, we're in some very testing times with the stamp duty holiday, as we know, and there's a lot more demand on people, to transact in a shorter time. So wherever we can help and leverage our relationships and our experience, obviously we will. So if there is a particular search that's holding up a transaction and that could potentially be lost, they're the sorts of things that we really try and help with. So you can ring our customer services team, explain the situation, and in most circumstances, we'll try and help. Obviously, that is an exception. Normally, things just progress as they should. But we do understand from time to time, things can happen, and we're there as well as Osprey to partner you, and we want to get the best out of the partnership. So as and when we can support, we will do our very best to do that.
Yeah, certainly. And the final question we've got in here then is also, what's the level of PI cover?
Yeah, so there's a £10 million worth, 10 millions of indemnity there for PI for anything with regards to the searches. And I'm pleased to say we haven't had a successful claim. So hopefully it's data at the end of the day, right? So as long as you get it back in the right way for the right address, then normally that's fine. So.
Okay, so that's all of the questions we've had through today. If anybody does think of any questions later on, we've got our email address, telephone number on screen, and John's is there as well. I'm sure that John's more than happy to take any queries from you as well. Like I said, we'll do our best to get you an answer to whatever questions you have. That goes if you're watching this on demand as well. You've got any queries, then please do just send an email, give us a call. We'll get in touch. John, again, thank you so much for joining us today. And to everybody who's watched you, thank you very much as well. Stay safe and have a nice week, everybody.